Imagine holding a piece of the past in your hands. A clay tablet, small enough to fit in your palm, yet dense with the weight of millennia. It's a silent witness to a long-vanished civilization. A civilization that built towering cities, charted the stars, and wrestled with questions that still echo in our own time. This particular tablet, however, is different. It's a frustrating anomaly, a locked box holding secrets that have stubbornly resisted every attempt to unlock them. It was unearthed from the sun-baked earth of what was once ancient Babylon, a region now part of modern-day Iraq. Babylon, a name synonymous with grandeur and mystery, a place that once stood as a beacon of human ingenuity and ambition. And this humble tablet, no larger than a smartphone, represents a sliver of that world, a fragment of a story yearning to be told. But here's the rub. Over centuries, it has remained stubbornly silent. Its surface is covered in cuneiform, that distinctive wedge-shaped script that was the hallmark of Mesopotamian writing. These aren't just random scratches. They are carefully impressed symbols, each one representing a syllable, a word, or even an entire concept. To the trained eye, cuneiform is a window into the minds of the Babylonians, a way to read their laws, understand their religion, and glimpse their daily lives. Except this tablet stubbornly defies comprehension. From the moment it was discovered, scholars have been captivated and bewildered. They've meticulously cleaned it, painstakingly photographed it, and subjected it to countless hours of scrutiny. They've compared its script to other known examples of Babylonian writing, consulted ancient dictionaries of cuneiform signs, and even attempted to reconstruct missing or damaged portions of the text. Imagine the dedication required for such a task. Years spent hunched over dusty tomes, comparing the subtle angles of wedges, agonizing over the possible meanings of ambiguous symbols. It's a slow, meticulous process, a painstaking puzzle that demands not only linguistic expertise, but also a deep understanding of Babylonian culture, history, and religion. And yet, despite all their efforts, despite all the accumulated knowledge and expertise brought to bear, the tablet has remained stubbornly unreadable. It's as if the scribe who wrote it deliberately employed a cryptic code, a linguistic riddle designed to confound future generations. What makes this tablet so perplexing? Several factors contribute to its inscrutability. Firstly, the cuneiform script itself can be notoriously ambiguous. Many signs have multiple meanings, and the correct interpretation often depends on the context. But in this case, the context is elusive. The tablet's fragmented nature further complicates matters. Over the millennia, the clay has cracked and chipped, leaving gaps in the text that are difficult, if not impossible, to fill. These missing pieces aren't just minor details, they could be crucial clues that unlock the tablet's meaning. Secondly, the tablet might be written in a rare or obscure dialect of Babylonian. Just as languages evolve over time, so too did cuneiform. Different regions and different periods employed variations in script and vocabulary. It's possible that this tablet uses a form of Babylonian that is poorly documented or even entirely unknown. Thirdly, the content of the tablet itself could be unusual or esoteric. Perhaps it contains a religious text with secret rituals or hidden meanings. Maybe it's a piece of philosophical writing that uses abstract concepts and metaphorical language. Or perhaps it's a personal letter using slang that would be nearly impossible for scholars to understand thousands of years later. Whatever the reason, the tablet's silence has been a source of immense frustration for scholars. It's a reminder that despite all our knowledge and technology, we still can't fully grasp the secrets of the past. It's a humbling experience to confront an artifact that stubbornly refuses to yield its meaning, a silent challenge to our intellectual pride. Over time, the tablet has been cataloged, archived, and largely forgotten. It has been relegated to the back shelves of museums, another unreadable artifact in a vast collection of ancient relics. Researchers have occasionally returned to it, hoping that fresh insights or new discoveries might finally unlock its secrets. But each time, they've been met with the same frustrating silence. Imagine the feeling of standing before this small clay tablet, knowing that it holds a message from the past, a message that could shed new light on one of history's most fascinating civilizations. And yet, despite all your efforts, despite all your knowledge and expertise, you can't decipher a single word. It's like trying to listen to a faint signal from a distant star, straining to hear a voice that has been lost to time. This, then, is the story of the silent tablet, an unreadable artifact that has baffled scholars for centuries. It's a story of frustration, of intellectual challenge, and of the enduring mysteries of the past. But it's also a story of hope, because even after all this time, the tablet still holds the potential to reveal its secrets. It still whispers promises of knowledge and understanding. And now, finally, in an age of unprecedented technological innovation, a new approach has emerged, one that could finally break the silence and allow the tablet to speak. That approach is artificial intelligence, and what it revealed was more than just a historical record, but a warning to all mankind. For centuries, human eyes struggled with those strange wedge marks. Some signs looked familiar, others didn't fit any pattern scholars knew. It was as if the tablet had been written in a dialect no one alive could quite grasp. Then, almost unexpectedly, a new kind of translator entered the picture. Not flesh and blood, but lines of code, artificial intelligence, trained on thousands upon thousands of cuneiform inscriptions, approached the tablet differently. Where human scholars might hesitate, second-guessing the context of a phrase, AI simply devoured data. It compared, calculated, and searched for patterns across entire libraries of ancient writing in seconds. What a single researcher might wrestle with for years, the algorithm could process before you'd finished a cup of coffee. But this wasn't just brute force speed, it was perspective. AI didn't come with biases about what Babylonian tablets should say. It wasn't expecting a royal decree, a trade receipt, or a star chart. It simply looked for probabilities, for connections between symbols, for the hidden structure within the lines. And in that neutrality lay its advantage. Picture the moment. Researchers load the digital scan of the tablet, every crack and groove captured in meticulous detail. The algorithm begins its quiet work, reshaping fragments of clay into legible signs, assembling the puzzle one piece at a time. Hours pass, the hum of the server room a constant backdrop. On screen, the AI cycles through countless possibilities, rejecting dead ends, refining probabilities, like an archaeologist sifting through digital dust. Then, something shifts. A cluster of signs that previously seemed indecipherable clicks into place. The AI, recognizing a rare grammatical structure, unlocks a whole section of text. The atmosphere in the room tightens. Lines of possible translations begin to appear on the screen. The researchers lean closer. They're not reading the same half-formed words they've seen for decades. No, this is different. Whole sentences are emerging coherent, startling. The AI had not only filled in missing gaps where the tablet was damaged, but it also suggested meanings that human translators had overlooked. It recognized allusions to long-forgotten myths, identified subtle shifts in tone, and even corrected errors in previously accepted interpretations of other texts. It was as if the AI had tapped into a deeper understanding of Babylonian culture than any modern scholar possessed. Imagine that thrill, that unsettling realization. A silent artifact had finally decided to speak, but through the voice of a machine. It wasn't a scholar gently brushing clay with a paintbrush. It was an algorithm, unblinking, efficient, pulling order out of chaos. There was something almost mystical about it, a sense that the AI wasn't just translating the text, but somehow channeling the very spirit of the scribe who had written it. But as the translation progressed, a growing unease filled the room. The tone of the text was unexpected. It wasn't the dry accounting of goods, the boastful proclamations of a king, or the ritualistic incantations they had anticipated. Instead, the tablet spoke with a different voice, a haunting voice that resonated across the millennia. And when the final translation scrolled across the screen, it wasn't what anyone expected. Not at all. Because what the AI uncovered wasn't just another administrative record. It was something far stranger, something that felt less like bookkeeping and more like a message waiting nearly 4,000 years to be read. A message filled with warnings, lamentations, and a profound sense of loss. A message that spoke not just to the people of Babylon, but to anyone who would listen. The tablet, it turned out, wasn't a record of daily life. It was a plea, A warning etched in clay, a desperate attempt to communicate across the ages. And the message it contained? Well, it would change everything. Okay, so we've managed to decode this 3,700-year-old Babylonian tablet, and the message is, well, it's open to interpretation, to say the least. This isn't a neat, easily digestible prophecy. It's a raw, unsettling piece of history that throws a lot of questions at us. Questions about ourselves, about our world, and about whether we're really as unique and advanced as we like to think. So what does it all mean? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Let's dive into the murkiness. The tablet, remember, speaks of cities rising and crumbling, kings losing power, floods sweeping across lands, and people wandering in search of food. The real kicker is that recurring line. The one who forgets will suffer again. Now, there are a few ways to approach this. One way, a more conservative approach, is to say, okay, this is a product of its time. It's a warning to the Babylonians themselves. Maybe it's a plea to maintain social order, to respect the gods, to uphold traditions. It's essentially a Babylonian version of stay in your lane, right? Stick to the script and everything will be fine. In this reading, the forgetting is about forsaking rituals or disrespecting the established hierarchy. It's a call for stability within their own specific cultural context. It's a local time-locked warning, but let's be honest, that feels a bit too easy. It's a convenient way to put the tablet back in its box and say, okay, that's interesting, and move on. But what if it isn't just about Babylon? What if it's something bigger? Another way to interpret this is to see it as a cyclical warning, a recognition of patterns throughout history. Empires rise, they become complacent, they overextend themselves, they collapse, rinse and repeat. It's the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, played out on a grand societal scale. Think of the Roman Empire, the Mayan civilization, even more recent examples. The warning here is that hubris, unchecked ambition, and a failure to adapt ultimately lead to downfall. The one who forgets will suffer again, then becomes a universal law of civilization, a pattern etched into the very fabric of human history. We see the warning signs, but we are powerless, or worse, unwilling to divert to a safe path. And then we get to the really unsettling interpretation. What if this tablet is talking to us? What if that line, the one who forgets will suffer again, isn't just about Babylonian rituals or the rise and fall of empires, but about the fundamental human tendency to ignore the lessons of the past? We stand on the shoulders of giants, but we often forget they even existed, let alone heed their warnings. Think about it. We're facing climate change, a crisis driven in part by our collective amnesia about the delicate balance of the natural world. We're dealing with political polarization and social unrest, fueled by our historical illiteracy and our inability to learn from past mistakes. We're building technological marvels while simultaneously ignoring the ethical implications and potential consequences. This tablet, in this context, becomes a stark reminder that we're not as clever as we think we are. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, isn't that a bit of a stretch? Are we really going to take life lessons from a 3,700-year-old clay tablet? And honestly, maybe it is. Maybe we're just projecting our own anxieties onto an ancient text. Maybe this is all just a grand coincidence, a trick of interpretation. But even if it's a coincidence, it's a powerful coincidence. It forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about ourselves, about our society, and about our place in history. It asks us to consider whether we're truly learning from the past, or whether we're simply doomed to repeat the same mistakes, generation after generation. And here's where the AI aspect comes into play. For centuries, these words were silent, inaccessible. They were locked away, hidden beneath layers of dust and obscurity. It took the power of artificial intelligence to unlock them, to give them a voice again, and that, in itself, is a profound moment. AI, often feared as a harbinger of some dystopian future, has instead become a bridge to the past. It's given us the ability to hear the whispers of forgotten civilizations, to learn from their successes and their failures. This raises another huge question. How will AI change the field of historical research? For so long, our understanding of the past has been limited by the skills and biases of human historians. We interpret, we translate, we draw conclusions, but we're always filtered through our own perspectives. AI, on the other hand, can process vast amounts of data, identify patterns that humans might miss, and offer new insights into ancient cultures. It's a bit like giving a magnifying glass to someone who's been squinting at a map for centuries. Suddenly, details become clear that were previously invisible. But it also presents a challenge. How do we ensure that AI is used responsibly in historical research? How do we avoid biases in the algorithms themselves? How do we ensure that AI is used to enhance human understanding, not to replace it? This is a new frontier for historical study. The Babylonian tablet, then, is more than just an ancient artifact. It's a catalyst. It's a reminder that the past is never truly dead, that it can speak to us across millennia, and that artificial intelligence has the potential to unlock its secrets in ways we never thought possible. Ultimately, the lesson of the tablet, whether it's intended or not, is this: memory matters. History matters. Understanding where we came from is essential to understanding where we're going. And if we forget that, if we allow ourselves to become consumed by the present, then we are indeed doomed to suffer again. Doomed to suffer again.